Congratulations, Axell Hodges.
Thank you.
Axell Hodges doesn't just ride, he redefines what a dirt bike can do. From sky-high whips at Slayground to gold medal runs at X Games, he's built a career on pushing limits most riders wouldn't even consider. But chasing progression comes with a price. Alongside viral clips and record-breaking sends are brutal crashes, near misses, and moments that nearly ended it all. These are the sends that didn't just build a career. They carved Axell Hodges into a legend. Most motocross riders train on someone else's track. Axell Hodges built a universe all his own. One shovel, one landing, one insane line at a time. The Slayground story didn't begin in Ramona. It started years earlier, back in Encinitas, California, on a piece of property owned by Axell's family. There, surrounded by coastal hills and just enough space to dream big, Axell and his brothers started carving jumps into the terrain. It was rough, raw, and far from polished, but it was his. A Freeride playground built entirely for fun and progression.
Being a dirt biker, I've just always wanted property to where I could just go build whatever I want and be able to do what I want, and I don't know, just be able to build what I want, hit what I want, and this has always been my dream to have my own place to ride my dirt bike.
Slayground 1 marked the beginning of Axell Hodges' Freeride series. It was fast, loose, and all about having fun on his own terms. Axell linked together natural lines, carved deep berms, and flowed through the property with a style that felt different from anything else at the time. There were no contest gates or structured formats, just raw riding with a focus on creativity and feel. It was simple, but it hit hard. That first Slayground didn't try to be the biggest. It just showed Axell doing what he does best, and it made people take notice. Slayground 2 dropped in 2018, and everything about it felt like a step forward. This time, Axell filmed at Jeremy McGrath's property, where he rode the first dirt-built half-pipe ever featured in a motocross edit. The half-pipe was the standout, something straight out of BMX or snowboarding. But Axell made it work with his own rhythm and style. He linked Freeride hits with skate-inspired flow, then kept the momentum going with massive whips, and even a nose wheelie across the top of a table. It was a mix of power and precision that felt completely his own. The production was sharper, but the mindset stayed the same. Ride with feel, mix it up, and don't follow the rule book. Slayground 2 wasn't just bigger. It was proof that Freeride could evolve. Clean visuals, creative lines, and a vibe that still hit like nothing else in Moto. And brands like Monster Energy realized Axell wasn't just pushing Freeride, he was changing it. In 2020, with Monster's full support, Axell broke ground on a new vision. A purpose-built compound in Ramona, California, designed from the dirt up for filming, progression, and total creative freedom. This was the official Slayground, the next level. Axell teamed up with Jason Baker of Dream Tracks, one of the most respected builders in motocross. They moved thousands of cubic yards of dirt, sculpting features that fused freestyle amplitude with freeride flow. It had massive hips, BMX-style rollers, step-up canyon gaps, wall rides built into hillsides, and freestyle ramps tucked between natural terrain. Everything was built with film in mind, lines that looked wild on camera and felt even sketchier in real life. Released in 2021, Slayground 3 showcased Axell Hodges executing his most ambitious lines yet. The video opens with a continuous run filmed from a helicopter, capturing over 20 jumps in a single take. The course, crafted by Matt McCall, drew inspiration from BMX and mega ramp skateboarding, featuring elements like a rainbow ramp, QuarterPipes, and technical wheelie sections. Hodges' riding combined massive whips, wall rides, and manual combos, all executed with fluidity and style. Slayground 3 wasn't merely about individual tricks, it was about linking them into a cohesive, flowing line. The production quality was elevated, yet the core essence remained, pushing the boundaries of what's possible on a dirt bike. And it became a symbol of how far you could go when you took control of your environment. Riders didn't just want to train like Axell, they wanted to ride where he rode. With Monster Energy backing the production and distribution, the Slayground series became a global sensation. The footage racked up millions of views.
The crazy thing too is that nobody else is jumping these jumps, like speed checks, there's none of that. This is all Axell hitting the shit first.
His own compound, like he's invested in himself, or Monster has invested in his projects.
As they should.
X Games has always been the proving ground, the place where the best in the world show up and throw down. And when Axell Hodges rolled in, it wasn't just to compete, it was to change the game. From 2016 to 2021, Axell stacked up 12 X Games medals, including 4 golds. But it wasn't just the number, it was how he won them. His style, originality, and pure send-it attitude turned every event into a highlight reel. In Best Whip, he brought something different. While most riders focused on snappy rotations, Axell's whips were long, slow, and surfy, hanging in the air with a style that looked more like snowboarding than motocross. The crowd felt it, the judges rewarded it, and the internet? It lit up. He didn't just win Best Whip, he reshaped how it was judged. Then came QuarterPipe High Air, the event that turned him into a legend. In 2019 at X Games Minneapolis, Axell launched 32 feet above the top of the QuarterPipe, setting a new world record.
Landing, I mean, you can't really do more than that. Look at right there, just floating. Gravity takes over, kind of just hanging on the bike, see where it goes. 3 solid jumps at him. He definitely made a statement this weekend. He as well started getting a little low. You know, you can see the back end starting to want to chase him a little bit, but that's what happens when you're that high. Like I said, the bike almost loses weight up there. And we had, man, just way up above the stadium floor. Right there, you can see the back end want to chase him a little bit, but his bike skill takes over and he rides it out smooth. 33 feet 2 inches was his best. What's he going? 34 feet 3 inches this time around. That's massive. He's gone higher and higher each and every time.
That's more than 45 feet of total elevation on a 250-pound dirt bike, with nothing below him but the same vertical wall he took off from. And it wasn't a one and done. Axell kept pushing in practice, going higher, experimenting with body positioning and bike control mid-air. Axell brought the kind of risk and raw energy that kept fans on the edge of their seats. And then there was Real Moto, the video-based X Games competition that gave riders full creative freedom. It was the perfect platform for Axell's Slayground roots. His edits blended massive freeride hits, technical street-style lines, and jaw-dropping visuals. He took silver in 2016 and bronze in 2021. But more importantly, he proved that his impact didn't need a live crowd to be felt. These weren't just contest entries. They were cinematic showcases of what made his style so unique. What tied it all together was his energy. He brought showmanship without trying too hard, never stiff, never scripted. Just a guy clearly having the time of his life, even while flying 40 feet through the air. In a sport where competition often flattens creativity, Axell flipped the script. He made it his playground, and left behind a contest legacy that was every bit as radical as his freeride roots.
It's a film competition, so the camera work is part of the competition. You want to have your stuff look good, coloring good, editing good, so all the camera equipment we use is top of the grade stuff, so that all kind of is a determining factor to our video.
You know, I grew up on moto videos. My whole goal is just make them better, dude. You know, I'm trying to really showcase like innovation in writing and filming. Sort of the content now, it's all about just, you know, stepping up the film game as well, from helicopters to drones. Last year, you know, he did a mini flip, which was progression for him, but it wasn't really progression for the sport. This year, the goal was to, you know, progress the sport.
For all the polished edits and X Games medals, some of Axell Hodges' most unforgettable moments came when things got a little sketchy, when the risk was real, the landings questionable, and the line between genius and disaster was razor thin. Axell's riding has always flirted with danger, but there's a difference between calculated risk and full-on chaos, and he's had plenty of both. One of the most iconic examples? The Slayground step-up gap.
It worked. What do you think, PH? What do you want to name it?
I'm calling it the visor smasher. The first time I hit it, my visor went down like that last week. I kept the front up and I felt like I was going over. I was like, oh yeah.
I know. At first I was like, oh, it looks good. And I'm like, oh, you might be long, and then dropped on in there.
Then there was the massive 150-foot plus gap he attempted in the California hills. It was high speed, low margin, and terrifyingly exposed. It was a straight-up send. Axell cleared it clean, but the run-in was so rough and narrow that even getting to the takeoff was a challenge. He described it as the scariest thing I've ever ridden. But not every send has a smooth ending. 2019, Axell was prepping for what should have been a career-defining moment, the live broadcast of Evil Live 2, where he was set to attempt a record-breaking motorcycle jump and go further than Robbie Madison's 378-foot world record. He'd been pushing harder than ever, lining up massive hits at a private airport, fine-tuning everything for the big day. Axell hit the ramp at over 105 miles per hour, but gave the bike a bit too much lift off the takeoff. The wind caught him just enough to push his balance off in midair. He came down rear wheel first, then slammed the front end hard. The landing crushed his toes up to his shins and sent his weight left, peeling him off the bike. Axell slid nearly 200 feet, hands torn up, before finally coming to a stop. The crash shattered his ankle and left him on the sidelines just days before the live show. Instead of going for history, Axell was headed into surgery, forced to watch Evil Live 2 from the hospital. For a rider built on surviving the sketchiest lines with style, it was a brutal reminder of how quickly freeride can turn, and how the biggest moments sometimes never make it past practice. And again in 2022, while filming at Slayground, Axell over-rotated a step-up whip and landed awkwardly on the downside. The impact fractured his wrist and ribs, putting him on the shelf during another stretch of the season. Still, within weeks he was back on the bike. Axell's also had close calls during high-profile filming missions. While shooting for Real Moto, he came inches from high siding on a slick, curved hip line after losing traction mid-turn. In another clip, he misjudged a transfer from a dirt lip to a wooden QuarterPipe, landing just off-center and bouncing sideways. Both times he rode it out, but barely. These aren't fails. They're reminders of just how far Axell is willing to go in pursuit of progression. Because with Axell, the craziest moments aren't always the smoothest. They're the ones where he takes a gamble, rolls the throttle, and barely makes it through. And somehow those are the ones that fans remember most. Axell Hodges didn't just push freeride, he redefined it. At a time when freestyle was becoming increasingly polished and competition-focused, Axell reminded the world that dirt bikes could still be about style, creativity, and doing it your own way.
Now, you can go be a freestyle guy and go to X Games and throw all your tricks down and see if you get a good score and get the gold medal and get sponsors. Or now, freeriding's come back around, full circle 25 years later, and people like Axell are making a living by posting cool jumps and just being creative.
What made him different wasn't just how high he jumped or how far he sent it. It was how he did it, with flow, with swagger, and without chasing trophies. He made freeride feel fresh again. Whether it was a scrub over a backyard jump or a backflip onto a steep hillside wall ride, Axell showed that Moto could have the same energy as skateboarding or snowboarding. Less structure, more soul. And that style spread. A new generation of riders has grown up watching Slayground edits and urban freeride clips, realizing they didn't need a race license or a podium to be great. They just needed a shovel, a camera, and the guts to try something new. Axell wasn't trying to start a movement, but he did.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like to be on like everybody's radar and to like make this a legit thing, because you can do it for the gram forever.
Yeah.
But people aren't just going to pay you to do shit for the gram. Like you've got to do some stuff that like moves the needle.
He also helped blur the lines between action sports and content creation. His YouTube videos, Instagram clips, and monster-backed projects weren't just about tricks. They were about vibe. In a digital era, Axell built a brand on being authentically himself. Fast, loose, and fearless. That influence is everywhere now, from young freeriders building sketchy backyard lines to content-first riders redefining what it means to make it in Moto. And through it all, Axell hasn't chased the spotlight. He's let the riding speak. Whether it's a Slayground drop, an X Games run, or a sketchy rooftop send, he's built a legacy that's bigger than any one medal or viral clip. He made freeride fun again, and he made sure no one would mistake style for anything less than greatness. Axell Hodges doesn't just ride, he rewrites the rules. From custom-built compounds to contest golds, sketchy transfers to street-level mayhem, his career has been one long send with no signs of slowing down. He's carved out a lane all his own, equal parts freerider, filmmaker, and modern-day action sports icon. So, what's your favorite Axell moment? Was it one of those wild rooftop sends, a buttery whip at X Games, or something from the latest Slayground edit that just blew your mind? Drop it in the comments. We want to hear what hit hardest for you. And if you're ready for another heavy hitter, check out this video next. And if you're into deep dives like this, hit that subscribe button. We've got more stories coming soon that break down the biggest legends and wildest brands in action sports. Thanks for watching, and stay wicked.